In the automotive industry, there's always one car that's held up as a benchmark for any class, shape or size of car. In the world of electric cars, that really is the Tesla Motors Model S. I'm Mark Chatterley.
I'm Nikki Gordon-Bleanfield.
And welcome to Charged Up, where we're going to review the Model S!
You're driving!
Hello.
We're in a Tesla Model S P85.
Yes!
Top of the line, top spec, 85 kilowatt hour battery pack.
Absolutely amazing 0 to 60 time of 4.2 seconds, which is literally breathtaking. Cost-wise, this one that we're driving comes in at a tad over £100,000.
Yep.
Which is a lot. There is a base model for this, which is the 60 kilowatt hour battery pack version. It's got a slightly longer 0 to 60, hasn't got as much range. The base model, if you just got the base model with no options or anything like that, it's a tad over 50 grand. So there is quite a big difference between the base model Model S and the fully spec'd out, fully kitted Model S.
Yes, yes.
Which is nice. I mean, that shows there's lots of options for changing the configuration, making it the car that you want and need.
It's got some fantastic features, you know, the smartphone app, all completely integrated. You can lock the doors, you can beep the horn, you can flash the lights, you can set the temperature in the internal temperature to whatever you want it to be. It's a really well thought out, nicely built, carefully considered car. And the nice thing about this car, the thing that I like about this car is the software is beautiful. I mean, this is gorgeous. This is gorgeous. This is gorgeous. I love being able to just, you know, touch a button, see the car behind me.
And how responsive it is as well. I know it's been mentioned before, but you touch a button, it changes. It's that Apple level of responsiveness.
And of course, you know, who doesn't like being able to do that?
Yeah.
It's got the largest panoramic sunroof in automotive history at the moment.
We haven't been able to test that hugely.
No, because it's raining. Why do we always get good cars to review when it's raining, Mark?
Because we're in Britain.
Lots of wonderful heated seat arrangements, which I love.
You do love. I am loving it in this as well, actually, because it's constant.
Yes.
I think the issue I had with it before is it would pulse
on the leaf.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which was very odd.
The camera on this, you can activate it all the time. So you can have your rear view camera. It's apparently the first HD camera. It's a freaking HD camera, so it's actually probably got a better lens in it than this camera and that camera, and probably not that camera, but you know,
it is amazing.
But you don't have to have it activated all the time. So we'll set it back to nav or media. You can put your suspension
to very high, and the car should raise.
You can hear it now.
Oh wow! I can actually see us going up by a significant amount. So, I mean, there are various reasons you want to raise it. And as you drive along, as you see, now we're above 5 miles an hour. It's gone from low to standard.
And that's to protect the car.
We got steering mode, comfort, standard, sport. Regenerative braking, you can turn from standard, which is very aggressive, actually, when you come off the accelerator.
Yeah.
And low.
We're just sort of outside Stroud here in Gloucestershire, which is a beautiful part of the UK. If you ever come to the UK and you don't live here, or if you do live here, come and visit. It's beautiful. Lots
of hills. We've been having fun up and down various hills.
Hills and cattle grids, which we're just about to go over, and it gives you an idea of how noisy the inside of the car is. Here we go. Yeah. Not really bad.
Not bad at all.
And this is the suspension in the standard setting.
Ah, okay.
Now, we should point out that because this is a P85 performance, it comes with air suspension as standard, the active air suspension. So at higher speeds, the car will hunker down to make itself more aerodynamic on the road.
And more efficient.
Or if you're going off-road, not that you'd want to go off-road in a Model S, but you know, if you ever park up sometimes, you know, one of those places, like especially school things, where the car park's full, and you just need to have to park on the grass. If you have to jump a curb or anything, you can just whack the suspension up into its highest setting, just so that you don't damage the bottom of the car as you're jumping the curb or whatever. Massive wheels on this.
Yeah, really, really fat tyres.
I mean, unbelievably
When you drove away after dropping me off last night, and I saw them sort of from the outside perspective, yeah, amazing.
I think they're 20-inch.
Which
might be 21. I'm not sure.
Is a factor of allowing them to transfer all of the power of the motor into the road.
And it's a lot of power, isn't it? How much power is it?
The top marked kilowattage of the motor is 320 on this, but it looks like it goes up a little bit further than that.
Yeah, I mean, if we say 320 in normal situations, that gives you an idea of...
The Leaf, which has one of the higher ones on the market at the moment,
is 80 peak.
Yes, which is, just to demonstrate.
Yes.
See, I did that holding the breath thing again.
Now, in terms of construction, lots of aluminium used.
Yes.
There's no glove box here, which is a shame. You've got an armrest that slides forwards with, you can put your cup holders in. There is one glove box, and I'm going to use my
roaming
GoPro here.
Yeah.
This is the button to press it here. So if I press that, and it's the only, that and the hazard switch are the only two, I think, fully mechanical switches on the car. But you can see it's not a huge glove box, but then it's not really designed as a family car, is it? It's
no, and I suppose sedan. That would be one of my issues with it. Maybe not issues. Maybe it's a personal choice. They've seemed to have very much gone for an idea of having space, a feeling of space on the inside, and it could be because I feel very close to the ceiling, so more space around me makes me not feel as enclosed.
Yeah.
But it does mean there's that kind of central trunk where you kind of just dump stuff. There's no compartments for things other than the mugs, which when riding with Nikki are always full of one coffee and one Diet Coke.
Gosh. Lots of space at the front, and this is not back as far as it could be. So let me push this back as far as I can make it go. I mean, look, I'm 5'10" and I can't reach the end here. And then I can push it up. Oh. Oh. And I should show you that the switches are actually, I don't know if you can see, the switches are down there. So, now, with it in its highest setting, my head is just a few millimetres from the roof, if you look there. A few millimetres from the roof. And it gives you quite a high commanding view of the road, I think. If I was driving in this position, I don't think I'd want to because I'd hit the... But, I mean, if you're a small driver, you can be accommodated.
Stat nav is one of them. I did wonder how well this would work in an area like mine, which is countryside-y. I mean, it's not completely countryside, but
it has absolutely no signal.
It's got a little bit of signal, a little bit of 3G, but obviously not enough to transfer those maps.
Yeah.
And that becomes useless there.
Yes. Now I should point out that is on full lock.
Yeah, that's something I noticed was there's not a lot of turns until full lock.
However, this is on comfort setting, and you can modify the settings.
Going back to this display, I did have a few issues with it when I was trying to follow the navigation, which was on the bottom plane when I was doing it. I couldn't see the directions because they were in the bottom left-hand corner.
Yep.
And that's where my steering wheel cut across the display.
Yep.
That was slightly annoying, but that was easily remedied by just clicking the flip button.
I don't like this switchgear. I think it's dangerous. But that's just my personal opinion, and it might be different, you know, in a different country.
Yeah.
Mark, we talked about the size of this car.
We have.
And you've said, on more than one occasion, that you feel this car is big.
I do. I really do feel this is a big car. My experience of driving cars tends to be Polos, Volkswagen Polos. I think I had a Volkswagen Golf, but it was one of the older ones, which is actually smaller than the modern Polo.
Yeah.
So I'm used to that kind of very European hatchbacky small car.
Yeah.
So to me, this is massive.
Yeah.
And I don't, maybe it's because I haven't had enough time to get used to it.
Yeah.
But at the moment when I'm driving it, I'm still thinking it's bigger than I think.
Yes.
Be careful.
Yes.
And also there is the factor that I live in a 2-adult family, no kids, no animals.
Now I think this car is not that big.
Okay.
Now I've got a Chevy Volt as one of my cars, and it doesn't feel much bigger than that.
Interesting.
In all honesty, it could be smaller, and I think the Model E is going to be an interesting car, so I think that will be smaller. But at the same point, I think you know, it's actually not a bad car, really.
No.
Not a bad car. It would be a big car if it didn't handle so easily.
Yeah. Okay. That's fair.
And now, because we're Leaf drivers and we're wusses, we've got it set on comfort.
Yeah.
But if you set it to sport, it really, you really feel that sporty feeling, and it's tight. The steering is tight, and you have to really feel your muscles fighting the back end of the car and fighting that power.
Nice.
I prefer it in comfort because I just like that one finger. It's not quite as light as the Leaf, though, is it?
No, not quite. But I mean, that's a very fine distinction, I think, between the two.
Absolutely. I think this is more than adequate for driving down British lanes. A lot of people were concerned, and one of the things people asked me to do, and you to do, was to see what it was like on, normal roads. Now, this is a normal British A road. I'm not hitting any potholes on the left or any manhole covers.
There's a bit of a bump coming up. There's a little one there.
And you're not screaming you're too close to the curb or too close to the centre line. So it's wide enough. I mean, it copes. This is no wider, I think, than a lot of Mercedes, Jaguars.
No, but
it's a luxury car, so it's luxury car width.
If you're coming to it from a
smaller car,
then yes, that's going around the country lanes we were. You have to think more about pulling over, slowing down, because it's a wider car.
Yeah. What would I like to change? Well, I would like it to... what would I like to change about the Model S? Well, the boot's massive.
The boot is
huge
massive.
amounts of shopping in, so that's nothing. I don't want to change that.
And the frunk is massive as well.
And the frunk is massive, so I don't want to change that. Anything else? Not really. Do I need a car this fast? No.
This is interestingly, it's something I've been contemplating as well. Is if you had this car with a motor that was half as powerful, it would still be an amazing car.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
So that thinking led me to the 60 kilowatt hour battery pack.
Yes.
Is I'd really, really love to try a lowest spec Model S.
Yeah.
Because over 200 miles, still got a decent 0 to 60, still got a decent top speed. It's amazing. And I think that, in my mind, bodes more in me looking forward to the Model E and the affordable car than this top spec one.
So what are you going to give it?
So I marked down the Smart for 2 EV because of its expense. And in my mind, the expense of that car, you weren't paying for anything extra. It's different with this car because the money gets you lots of things. So in my mind, this is a 9 out of 10. It's not quite 10 out of 10 because there are little niggles, little bugs, things that don't fit me as a driver. And I give ratings very much personally on me. This isn't the car for me. If it was smaller, had a slightly smaller battery pack, when Tesla builds a Model E, I will be wetting my fanboy pants.
I'm going to give it a 10 out of 10.
Of course you did.
I'm going to give it a 10 out of 10 because, and really, what I really want to give it is a 9.8.
Okay.
But I'm rounding up.
Yeah, okay, that's fair.
There are some issues. This control stalk needs work. I love the auto-dimming rear mirrors because I suffer a lot from blindness at night, people dazzling me. All of these mirrors turn green. It's lovely.
Oh.
It's brilliant. They all have a green tinge. I love the front. I love the trunk. I love that everything here is accessible. The reason why, for me, it's such a high score, I totally agree with you. When it comes to performance, I don't need this amount of power.
Yeah. And that's interesting that we're now talking about the car being too powerful.
Too powerful, too good.
Yeah.
For my needs, I don't need a car that will hoof it like this.
So what you're saying is I think, similar to me. If you could reduce some of the performance and make the car cheaper because of it.
Yeah, and we've now lost all our viewers, so it's just you and me now just talking. But yeah, I think this car is almost too powerful. It's excellent.
Yeah.
It's a fantastic track car. It would a fantastic road car.
Yeah.
But do you really need a car?
The commute?
That, for your daily commute that can go from 0 to 60 in 4.2 seconds? Answer, no. Because you know what happens? What happened to me this morning? Got out on the motorway, I was at some stoplights, absolutely floored it, got to the end of the on-ramp and realised I was slightly over 70 and I have to slow down because I'm approaching the back of a truck pretty quickly.
It's a fun car, though.
Which is it's lovely to drive. Absolutely lovely to drive. But the reason why it's so high for me is this. This is the first car in the world that can be remotely updated. That can be remotely... And this is the genius of it. This is why it deserves 10 out of 10.
And I think if we go into this, and then there's some notes. It even comes with software notes. There it is. Release notes. I mean, this tells you what the last release did.
Yeah.
Which is what I've been asking Nissan for. And they keep sending me a letter that's got 3 lines written on it going, we've changed the gasometer. And it's like, okay, that's not actually a note. I need to know what you've changed so I know how to change my behaviour. And
essentially, if you know how to use an iPad, you know how to use this car.
Yeah.
This is the future of cars.
Yeah,
this is the future of vehicles, of electric motors. If Tesla has done this with electric drivetrain technology, if it had produced this fantastic system, then I think Nissan and all the other major automakers who are working on EVs and on self-driving technology need to be scared.
Yeah, I completely...
Because while Nissan is more popular and they've sold more cars, if Tesla's self-driving technology, which Elon Musk has said is going to be called autopilot, is anywhere near as good as this,
they should be worried.
We should all be worried.
And I keep coming back to, I know Tesla is a big company now, it's not massive, but this car hasn't come from a seasoned car manufacturer with many, many years of experience. This car has taken my breath away more than any other car has.
And it's fantastic.
And it's come from a company that's 8 years old. How old's Tesla now?
It's just over 10.
Just over 10 years old.
That's the Model S.
It's amazing.
You need to drive it to understand it. You need to get behind the wheel. You need to give it a go. You need to give it a spin. But that's our review. So 19 out of 20, which is our highest ever review. There's a surprise.
Yeah.
I'm Nikki Gordon-Bloomfield.
I'm Mark Chatterley.
And this has been Charged Up on the Tesla Model S.
The highlight of my life.
Bye. The other fun thing is, Elon Musk borrowed this car when he was last in the UK. I'll show you where Elon Musk sits when he drives.
Oh, are you now being moved into Elon Musk's seating position?
So this is how Elon Musk drives his car. So I can only think that Elon Musk likes to sit like this.
He's a low rider.
He's a low rider.
Ah, interesting.